What's up, y'all? So recently we talked about how to brace while you're in a conditioning movement like farmer's walks, and now we're going to talk about how to brace specifically in a calisthenic movement like a push-up, a bodyweight movement. Now, it's pretty similar to your farmer's walk, except you can use the whole cue of breathing in on the way down, exhaling on the way up, or inhaling on the negative phase of the movement, the eccentric, and then exhaling on the positive phase, the concentric, or the work phase of the movement. Now, here's what's important. Here's some of the important pieces. When you're doing a push-up, everything that needs to happen happens at your point of contact. Your point of contact are your hands, right? So if you're resting your entire weight on your wrists, then you're going to be in a world full of hurt. So I'd rather you get your fingers spread as much as you can. Keep spreading your fingers as hard as you can to the ground, and then slightly grip the ground. Grip the floor. So now you're resting more on the muscles of your fingers, your phalanges. Okay? And then make sure you're stacked with your shoulders in line with your wrist. So it needs to look more like here, fingers spread, you're stacked underneath, and then you're ready to go and do your push-up. Now, what is important about just the hand positioning is that most people begin to push up with their blades already squeezed together. So they have no proper engagement of the pecs, the shoulders, the subscap, the serratus. All that stuff is just doing nothing. All those accessory muscles aren't doing anything. So when you're starting the movement and you're spreading the floor and gripping the ground a little bit, you want to give the ground a little bit of a push. So push the floor away with your fingers, push it away, and you'll feel some engagement happen. You'll feel more stable in your scapula even. And once you get that engagement, now you can bring your feet back into position, whether it is on your knees or it is on your feet. So if I go on my knees even, what's important is if I'm on my knees, I'm going to squeeze my butt as tight as I can, pull up my pelvic floor, pulling up the boys, the ladies, pulling the rectum up to your stomach, all that fun stuff is on. I'm spreading those fingers still. Pelvic floor is on at minimum. I'm going to take my deep breath in. I'm going to look slightly forward. So I'm not dipping my neck as I do the damn thing. Or I can look straight down if you want. Exhaling hard and still keeping my pelvic floor on at minimum. Now again, if you want to refine your brace, like we talked about last video, you can throw in not only your pelvic floor, but you can throw in the obliques by taking your thumbs, placing on the side here, pulling in your thumbs together, pulling your thumbs together with your abs, or flexing your obliques up against your thumbs, and then taking your upper abs and pulling your thumbs or your whatever finger you choose to put on there, taking those fingers and pulling it into your mid-back, keeping that brace on the entire time, and then layering your breath on top of that. So you're inhaling into this compressed system that you've created. You're inhaling on the way down and you're exhaling on the way up. Now, if I chose to put all those braces into action, I am spreading my hands on the floor, I'm gripping the ground as far as I can, making sure I'm stacked underneath, feet are back, squeezing my butt, pelvic floor, obliques, upper abs, pushing the floor away, inhale, exhale, okay? I'm super engaged from my fingers to my glutes to my pelvic floor, everything's in line, I'm not dipping my neck, I'm making sure I incorporate all my braces. So again, at minimum, pelvic floor is on, optimize with the obliques and the upper abs, keep breathing diaphragmatically through your belly, okay? Make sure your point of contact is strong, so you're spreading your fingers into the ground, gripping the ground slightly, making sure you push the ground away a little bit to get this entire section engaged. Okay? Your scaps should be moving with the shoulder, should be giving the pecs and the anterior delt some activation as well. Now, if you want to make this more like a bodybuilding movement, you can even play with this some more. So you can, with the hands, if I go back to the hands, I can spread, grip the floor, and actually twist the floor, like corkscrew the floor a little bit to where my elbows tuck in slightly. What that's going to do is take my shoulder and it's going to rotate it into external rotation. So now you're protecting the joint by keeping the shoulder in this nice stable position versus being too internally rotated. So I can still do all my cues, right? I'm spreading the floor, I'm gripping, I get here, pelvic floor, glutes, all my braces. I twist a little bit, but I still push away. And then when I'm ready to engage, come down and come up, okay? So you can keep refining these movements. There's so many cues you can use to refine, but at minimum, the braces are important and the point of contact is important. So pelvic floor, at minimum, breathing in and out through your diaphragm, inhaling on the negative phase, exhaling on the positive or concentric, and then being sure that when you are pushing the ground away, you don't just default to your wrists. You keep spreading the fingers into the ground, you keep gripping, and if you want to refine it even more and put the shoulders in a better position, you corkscrew the floor slightly to set the shoulder in the socket a little better, and then from there you're controlling that on the negative, and then you're pushing away on the positive phase of the movement. Make sure your glutes stay squeezed as well, so not completely just relying on your pelvic floor, but you're also getting the glutes on to reinforce what you're trying to create. Make sure you try your push-up in this fashion. Let me know what you experience. You should feel a lot more engaged. Until next time, peace.